If you take out the difficult bits, we've talked about part exchange, valuation, the deal you've talked about, Rob, if you take that away, then you can spend time doing the good stuff.
Yeah.
And that is really interesting stuff. The mutual, respectful stuff, that's brilliant. And our showrooms will look very, very different. The conversations you're having in a showroom won't be, what's my car worth? It'll be, have you tried these alloys? Have a spin in that one?
It comes back
have you seen this new colour? Well, that's great stuff, isn't it? That's the sort of advice I want. I was thinking of having this car, but actually now I've talked to you, maybe I hadn't thought about that one. I'll try that one. Have you got the keys? Off we go. Wouldn't there be good conversations to be having? Or do you think it's merging though, the traditional sales exec and the product genius? Do you think that role's actually becoming non-distinct anymore? That's becoming one job?
Yeah, I think you're right, and I think the future of selling cars actually isn't about specific sales consultants anymore. It's about consultants, full stop.
Yeah. Hello and welcome back to the Armchair Show, where we're joined by three very special guests. We have Neil Williamson from Jardines, Sean Kelly from Vines, and Rob Earle from Gtechniq. How you doing, guys?
Good as gold.
Yeah. You're
old hands at this now. You've been on the show before. You're used to the limelight, the spotlights and the cameras. We thought we'd get you on today, guys, just to have a chat about the general car buying process. I'm sure we'll go off in lots of different directions, as you can expect. But we'll start really with a really simple question. We'll start with yourself, Sean. So what's it like to buy a car in 2020?
Well, I mean, I haven't bought a car myself for about 25 years, but in terms of on the other side of the mirror from a customer, I think it's still quite a challenging thing to do. I think the internet's helping in terms of transparency of offer and understanding what makes, models and so on are out there. But I still think at the point that becomes a showroom activity, there's still far too many hurdles and blockages that we're probably putting into that process to make it really smooth for a customer. Don't get me wrong, I think we're getting better at it, but the transparency of information with a customer actually puts us a little bit on the back foot because it's really hard for a sales consultant to know everything about every car and every model, and a customer does 20 hours worth of research, whatever it may be, on their particular model of interest. So I think we've got to be really careful not to try and bamboozle somebody who probably knows more than we do. But it's like all these things back to basics. It's just about understanding what a customer wants and then satisfying that need. If you do those two things, you're probably going to sell a car, and you'll probably sell them the right car, and they'll be happy. Yeah. But I still think there's a reticence from customers to walk into these large showrooms. They sometimes feel a bit clinical, and there's still a perception that they're going to get legged up. Yeah. I know Arthur Daly's long gone, but in the subconscious of people, there's still that concern about the straightforwardness or integrity of car dealers, and I think it's moved a long way, but there's still a little bit of that hurdle to get over, really.
I'd love to get Arthur Daly on this show. Brilliant, wouldn't it? Is that your experience, Neil, at Jardines?
I think, building on what Sean said, that in-showroom experience, we just need to take all those barriers away and make it a fun experience. Respect our customers, they should respect us, and not put them through our process. That's revolutionary speak, isn't it? We live and die by a sales process, but actually, the customers who buy the sort of cars we sell, do they really want to be processed? I don't think they do.
No.
I think they want to really enjoy spending the cash. Get good advice from us, really good advice, drive the thing, play with the thing. And if we make it great fun, then, people will come. They won't be nervous of coming into a big showroom. And our big showrooms are our big investments. We need to make them work for us, not work against us, surely. Yeah. So I think there's a big change. The internet's driving that, digital's driving that, but it's an attitude of mind, that you're coming to buy a car and it's going to be great fun.
And it isn't always great fun sometimes, is it? I think that's what a lot of people find. When was the last time you bought a car, Rob?
I bought a car, it was beginning of last year.
Okay. Wasn't from us, was it?
I can't remember where.
Can't have been that memorable.
No, it was Motortrade. It was Alfa Romeo.
Okay.
So
what was that experience like from a customer's point of view?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think I would say I'm fairly typical. I'm a fairly geeky kind of person. I think 20 hours would be not very much from my experience in terms of doing the research. So I knew exactly the car that I was looking for, and really I was just going in there to pay the money. Yeah. I knew exactly the spec. It was, I knew the colour of the calipers, the type of rims I wanted, everything that I wanted.
Yep.
And it was really just to go in there and hand over the money.
And get it, baby.
And get
Dream
it.
customer.
Yeah.
Did you know what deal you were going to get before you went in? Did you have an expectation of what you were going
Yeah,
to
I was
have to pay?
thereabouts, and then did a bit of toing and froing
Yeah.
at the time, and got the deal. And and it, for me, I'm very impatient. I just wanted the deal there and literally drive the car away, which I managed to do.
And that sounds like a dream. Sorry,
So-
Sean, but
sorry.
it sounds like a dream customer. But is that a dream customer? Would you want someone to come in that you can? Because from the sounds of it, that there's not a huge opportunity there to upsell, etc. If someone's that set on something.
Yeah, again, it's a really interesting one because most customers present themselves with an idea of what they want. The difficult bit is when actually you believe that's not the right solution for their needs.
Yeah.
Because quite often the desired model is hardwired from all that research. And we've had customers where we've suggested alternate products that perhaps better suit what they're after. They've chosen to go with what was in their head anyway, and a couple of months later it's like, God, do you know what? Yeah, it isn't quite right for whatever reason.
Yeah.
So that's quite difficult. But again, you were talking there, Rob, about the deal and the negotiation. I think a lot of people just don't like that. And I think if we could get to something that was much more transparent, the sticker price is good value and that's what you'll pay, and it comes with all this range of additional products and services, and we present them in a way that isn't a hard sell, but it's a real menu choice. And I think that's our goal, really. If we can get to that, I think we'll actually sell more things to more customers in a better way, and end up then with a better repeat cycle of people coming back and trusting you, I guess. And that's a really hard thing to win when people are in that. Is it a good deal? Am I negotiating? That kind of mindset.
Almost defensive or
a little
straight
bit,
away, aren't they?
yeah.
Yeah. Is that your experience, Neil?
Yeah, 100%. I think that's because we've got that process which involves a part exchange valuation, it involves a discount off the new or used car. It becomes a kind of conflict, and it really shouldn't be. And doesn't need to be now, does it? The internet will tell you what a good deal looks like. That's fine. You do your homework on that in 6 minutes, 6 seconds.
Yep.
And the internet will tell you what your car's worth, your used car, your part exchange. So if we can optimise that lack of conflict and get straight to the, actually, sir, madam, we think this is the great car for you, then again, you get into that, mutually enjoyable experience, buy the car, have great fun, and we make a few quid. So, yeah, different to how we do it now, but I think that's really important.
And what role do reviews play in this? Because obviously that's a big thing. Again, a little bit like hotels and restaurants and things. A lot of people are influenced by the reviews they read, whether or not they're fair or otherwise. Do you do that, Rob, when you're...
Well, it's quite an interesting thing. The car that I bought was Alfa Romeo Quadrifoglio. Reviews are fantastic. They say this car drives, a lot better than competing products, and you hardly see one on the road. And it's a real shame. And it is, I can tell you, it's an absolutely stonking car.
Yeah.
And touch wood, it's been reliable. Those kind of things. So, yeah, I don't know. I think the reviews had that car on top all over the place. Yet the numbers don't reflect that. So, I think one would have to take a pinch of salt with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
In my purchasing life outside of cars, because obviously I don't buy cars, reviews are important up to a point, but I think there's a growing scepticism around internet reviews and the ability to manipulate them, that kind of thing. So reviews play a part, but still quite often it's around conversations and talking to people real people who physically experience that service or product. And I still think that word of mouth advocacy is the most powerful thing you can engender for your business for long-term success. And that's why for me we've got a measure of that in our business, and that's our acid test measure really. Is what are people saying? Are we getting referrals from customers? And again, I think a lot of sales consultants don't even ask for that when they've concluded a sale. When you've done the best possible job and the customer's handstanding out of the dealership, the last thing you should say is, we thrive on that advocacy. If you know anybody, you must know 3 or 4 people who are interested in buying a car, please recommend them to us. And not asking that question is actually killing off the lifeblood of what the next month, quarter, year
Yeah.
looks like for your business. Really.
Yeah, it's not always the first thing to think of, is it? Yeah, I mean, is it something that you instill in your sales team, getting that
I think,
additional feedback afterwards?
We do, but it comes from the individual, doesn't it? You know, if you've done a great job, you're going to want to ask for that recommendation.
Yeah.
And if it's been a great experience, you know, why would you not recommend a friend, as it were? So, and it's much, you know, the manufacturer surveys have a place, you know, they do.
Yep.
But actually, you know, Sean's bang on. We need to find out what our customers are saying locally, and are they recommending us? That keeps the business ticking, I think.
Yeah, definitely. What do you all think about the term product genius? Because when I think of that, I think Apple. I think taking your broken iPhone in and getting it fixed. But just recently, actually, on the show, we've had a lot of people mention product geniuses.
I was a bit sceptical, to be frank, when this role was suggested. A, because I don't like spending any money, and B, because actually I believe that was the job of a sales consultant, to liaise with customers and find them the best products and so on. And it was a little bit of a mandated role from BMW UK, which is always the best way of starting off, isn't it? But so these were put into the businesses, and I think there were kind of two camps. Some product geniuses were made like the sales department's bitch and did all the really crappy jobs that other people didn't want to do. But we tried to embrace it in a way that actually was more beneficial for the customer, because, you know, quite often there's still this image of, you know, slick salespeople and, you know, trying to kind of get you to buy now. And a lot of customers actually wanted to just experience the product. I mean, the product range now across all the manufacturers is amazing, but the range of options and what they can do is just mind-boggling. So somebody being able to take the time to describe to a customer, demonstrate it in the showroom in a non-threatening manner, it certainly elevated our CSP, and I actually think it helped us close more deals.
Well, okay.
So we are advocates of that role and that process if it's done correctly.
Sure. Do you think it's merging though, the traditional sales exec and the product genius? Do you think that role is actually becoming non-distinct anymore? That's becoming one job?
Yeah, I think you're right, and I think the future of selling cars actually isn't about specific sales consultants anymore. It's about consultants, full stop.
Yeah.
Who do with all of the fluffy stuff at the front, you know, the technology and the drive and what it's like, and getting everybody sexed up about the product.
Yep.
And then when it comes to the numbers, there's a sort of specialist person or a specialist finance skill set that comes out to kind of close the deal, if you like.
Yeah.
So at the moment, it's like 90% sales consultants, 10% product geniuses.
Yes.
I don't like that term, but anyway, fine. You know,
You can say
whatever
that.
they do. Yeah.
Yep.
And in a bit, it'll be the other way around.
Yeah.
And there'll
Yep.
be 10% of the team that actually do in terms of the difficult bit, the frustrating numbers bit. And there'll be lots of fluffers in the showroom, if you like, in terms of getting customers excited about the product in the first place.
Absolutely. Rob, obviously you're not selling cars, but you're selling something that is uniquely attached to cars. It might be worth us quickly explaining what you guys do. But
So we, Gtechniq, we manufacture ceramic coatings for cars. So it's something that is kind of disrupting the paint protection market somewhat. But I think what's relevant, you know, we've kind of caught the internet, forums and then social media. We were lucky when we launched. You know, without that, we would have never got anywhere. But I think the thing that we've based our whole strategy around is being a very open, very education piece, and I think that's what people respond to. I think the days of the hard sell, they're over. They're gone. They're finished. And I think, you know, most people. And when we've gone into dealership, so we've got the platinum offering in about 50, 60 dealerships now in the UK. What I've noted is that kind of going in there, I've seen people there literally with their checkbooks going, I just want to write the check and go.
Yeah.
And that is what people, you know, a lot of people they just know everything they want. So I think flipping that into somebody who's going to give value by educating the consumer, if that is what people feel that they can go in and get, that is what people will be happy with. But they, you know, I think there is still that perception. Sorry, I'm probably one of the people going in and haggling for a deal and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I think those days of having that kind of very slick sales process, they've kind of gone, because people know pretty much, or they think they know, and that maybe, Sean, you were kind of alluding to that maybe, you know, what they have researched, maybe there's some things that they've missed, and if that is the piece that they can experience within the dealership to say, oh, there are some bits that perhaps you haven't quite considered that you should look at. That is what I think people will respond to, and it's all, you know, if people can see value, and that's the piece that we're trying with. Sorry, I'm making this into a sales pitch for Gtechniq, but that's the piece that we're trying to do, is so that they can see the value of that. And that when people can see that, people pay for value.
Yeah.
And if you take out the difficult bits, we've talked about part exchange valuation, the deal you've talked about, Rob, if you take that away, then you spend time doing the good stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and that is really interesting stuff. The mutual, respectful stuff, that's brilliant. And our showrooms will look very, very different. You know, the conversations you're having in a showroom won't be, what's my car worth? It'll be, have you tried these alloys? Have a spin in that one.
It comes back
Have you seen this new colour? You know, well, that's great stuff, isn't it? That's the sort of advice I want. I was thinking of having this car, but actually now I've talked to you, maybe I hadn't thought about that one. I'll try that one. Have you got the keys? Off we go. Yeah, wouldn't they be good conversations to be having?
And much more enjoyable, like you say, as a
100%.
salesperson. It comes back down to just basic customer service, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And to put you on the spot now, I'm going to ask you a question. Can you think of a piece of customer service that you've received yourself outside the industry or in the industry, whatever you like, that has really wowed you?
Something that's quite unique to me or to my family. So it's not about the money. It's not about how much the thing costs. I was staying in a hotel recently, and the guy came in to bring something to the room. Can't remember what. And I was reading a book with my son. Yeah, so hello, thanks very much. The next day there was the next book in the series in the hotel room.
Wow.
I don't know what that is. £3.50.
Yeah.
But that's just someone's taken the attention. They go,
amazing
you know what,
attention.
that would be really nice, and they've been bothered to get it on Amazon or whatever. And you know, my son was like, "What happened there, Daddy? You know, the hotel's been kind and got you the next book. Brilliant. You know, tiny little thing, tiny little value. The person who did it, there's a system behind that, so they've been given the authority and the process, and look out for these small things that are small or large that are unique to that guest, and fulfil it. Brilliant. You know, fantastic.
It sounds so simple when you put it like that, but that's surprising. It's such a delight, isn't it, to get that sort of thing. Thank you guys, really appreciate it. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
And thank you very much for watching. Just remember to subscribe, and you will never miss an episode. See you again next time.